we're going to consider how to choose the best startup programs and opportunities for your business. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Enterprise Chat at MSME Africa. I am your host, Aranimi, and to join the conversation today is the one and only Mr. Seye Olurotimi. He's a founder and CEO of MSME Africa. Good to have you on the show today, Mr. Seye.
Thank you, Aramide, and thank you for having me.
I said this is a special edition. It's quite amazing. Since I knew you were coming on the chat, I've been, elated and been super happy. But I want to quickly talk about, MSME Africa. Just briefly say 1 minute. Just talk about MSME
Okay,
Africa.
so MSM Africa is COVID baby. We started in the thick of COVID in 2020. That was May 2020. So we're just about 3 years old. And what do? We're focused on providing opportunities for MSMEs. So it's basically a platform for media, opportunities, resources, and tools that can help MSMEs to thrive and grow their businesses well. And that's what we've been doing for 3 years, and we don't hope to stop anytime soon.
Amazing, Mr. Olurotimi. So let's delve into the conversation today, right? So we're talking about how to choose the best startup programs and opportunities for your business. I think for the sake of people who might not necessarily understand, let's pick the idea. What exactly is a startup, and what exactly are these programs and opportunities that are available?
Okay, so maybe I will define what a startup is, define what an MSME is, and then talk about the different opportunities. Because a startup, for some people, means a company that has just started. No, that's not why we call it a startup. A startup basically is different from an MSME because, number one, there is a lot of innovation involved in what they do. They are powered by technology, and they have the ability to scale rapidly. That's what a startup is. When you talk of a startup, you must be talking technology, you must be talking innovation, you must be talking the ability to scale. And that's the difference between a startup and a conventional micro, small, medium enterprise. So that's a startup, technology, innovation, ability to scale. Then your conventional MSM is just a regular business. But of course, everybody is talking about adoption of technology. So the idea is for MSM is also to try to pattern their businesses to look like startups so that they can attract the right opportunities. Now let's talk about different opportunities. There are 1,000,001 opportunities for startup and MSMEs. I would look into different categories. So you can have grants, which is what everybody looks forward to, because that one is money that you're not going to pay back, right? You can talk about accelerator. An accelerator, just like the name suggests, is something that helps you to accelerate. So is a program for a business, maybe a startup or even an MSME that wants to grow, that wants to accelerate their progress. That's an accelerator. Then you have an incubator. I mean, when you say incubator, it's just a place where you can fertilize something, right? Where you can grow something. So an incubator is where maybe you're in an idea stage. You want a program that can help you to flesh up the idea and grow better at it. And then some incubators also provide non-cash benefit. They can give you like a co-working space. They can give you an equipment, things that would help you to be able to thrive running that business. Then you can look at funding in terms of debt, equity, right? So you can look at debt and equity funding as another kind of opportunity. Debt is what you get from your conventional bank, where you are meant to pay back over a period of time. So whereas equity is somebody coming into your business, putting down money in exchange for a part of that business. That's also an opportunity. Then you have startup competitions, you can have hackathons, you can have pitchathons, and a couple of different competitions where you're asked to to bring some input, and then you get rewarded at the end of the day. You also have boot camps. You are called to come into a space for some time. Then after them, maybe they want to do a demo day or some other thing. So there are different kind of opportunities basically. And those are the ones I've just explained.
You've actually spoken about the different kinds of opportunities that are available for startups I must confess that I'm happy that I just learned today what a startup actually is, as against the idea that I had about a startup. And you've spoken about the diverse opportunities that are available. And I think for me, I think the grants is something I will probably look out for. So I also want to, take this further. How do entrepreneurs identify, what is most suitable, the most suitable opportunity or programs that align with their business goals and objectives? Because
Okay,
that is
so
really important.
thank you so much for that question. And your question is assuming that these businesses actually have goals, right? I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of businesses don't even have definite goals. They don't have like, this is what I'm trying to do. And when you don't have a goal and you don't have a focus, every opportunity that comes to you is what you want to grab. And I've seen people take some opportunities that landed them into problems. The starting point is for a business to have a goal and a mission, a focus that will determine the kind of opportunities they want to jump at, right? So another thing is the stage at which your business is. There are some opportunities that are good for you at a particular stage, but after that time, if you embrace them, you might land into trouble because they are not best fit for you. Then you also need to ask yourself, this particular opportunity, what is it going to demand from me? Some opportunities would place demand on your time. They will place demand on a couple of things. Do you have the ability to offer those things? If you're not ready for it, then you should not go for it. Then what benefit do you stand to derive at the end of the day? Those are questions that startups should ask. And if I could flesh that up, I remember there was an opportunity for me, like I won an award that came with cash prize, a laptop, and then opportunity to go for a particular training. But I didn't go for that training. I kept shifting, but at some point I told myself I wasn't going to go for it because it was going to take me away from work for 2 days, for 3 months. And at that time, that was not what I needed. I needed to be able to work on the business at that time. So I see people run from one accelerator to another, thinking this is an opportunity. So you are running from one accelerator to another for 2 years. And at the end of that, you don't have time to run your business. Maybe it's still a one-man business or you have just one person. So for some person, those accelerators are good. For another person, it's not what you need. It will take you away from the business. Maybe what you need to go after is a grant. Okay. Then for some other people, they are looking for debt funding. So they hear that there is a bank giving out loans and you want to go get a loan when you are not generating income. And so from the following month, you are expected to start paying back. And it becomes a problem for you. Maybe you could have gone for equity where nobody is asking you to pay them. They are just waiting to get a share of the company. So those are the things that the businesses should consider. Sometimes I see people run from one continent to another in the name of accelerators, incubators, fellowships. And at the end of the day, they are becoming so popular. They are moving from one place to another, but they don't have anything because there's no business anymore. They don't have time to cater to it. So you need to look at what stage are you? What is this opportunity going to demand from me? Am I able to meet up? If you are not able to, look for the next one that looks like what you need at that time.
Good enough. You made very interesting and salient points. As a matter of fact, I think you've answered like a number of the questions I wanted to bring up. So I want to also further to your explanation and all. What are these common pitfalls that businesses, that startups really need to avoid?
Okay, so I think one of the first thing they need to avoid is the Me Too syndrome. So your friends, other people in your industry or in other spaces, you found out that this person just got into this program. And the next thing you want to do is to also jump on another program so that people will know that it's also happening for you. So that's one thing they need to avoid. Another one is the lack of adequate preparation for these opportunities. Some of these opportunities are seasonal, they are very seasonal. Some of them, the application comes out in January and closes in March, and they are not. I mean, you don't apply for it. Then the last day you start running elter skelter trying to apply for them. You might not get into it, or your answer might not just be a good representation of your person. I think another one is people just not being able to define what actually is an opportunity for them. So a bank says, I want to give you a loan. Have you asked yourself, what is the interest rate? Am I going to get a moratorium that probably allows me to stay for 3 or 6 months before I start paying back? A lot of time, people just jump at it because people call it opportunity. What is opportunity to one person might not be opportunity to me because of where we are in running the business. So the Me Too syndrome, not preparing well, and then not asking questions and not finding out the details about those opportunities, those are pitfalls that MSMEs and startups should actually avoid.
Amazing, Mr. Seye. I think we also cannot overemphasize the importance of networking, collaboration when it comes to getting opportunities. I want you to, tell us more about how important networking and collaboration and how these can actually help businesses, startups, MSMEs to get opportunities.
So, like you rightly said, networking, collaboration, they are very, very important because these things thrive on information. If you are not where the information is being shared or broadcasted, you will not know when a particular opportunity is available for you to take advantage of. And that's why, for instance, in MSME Africa, we have a community where every single day we post opportunities. And I cannot tell you how many people have come back to say, I applied for this, thank you for this, thank you for that. Some people even send me mails to say thank you. I mean, there is one community where I share these opportunities every day, and the guy was telling them that thank you. I mean, he was saying thank you to this guy. I applied for this particular opportunity for my wife, and she was able to, she came second, and I think she got 500K. So networking and collaboration is very, very important. You can't just run a solo race. You need to be in communities where informations would flow. And then if you are part of a particular program, don't just jump off that program. Usually programs will create like maybe like a platform where you can keep interacting even after you're out of that program, maybe an accelerator. And what happens is that when they see opportunity that looks like what is good for people in that community, they want to share it with you. And then also attending meetings, attending events, attending conferences, they put you in the front of people who can take the decision. You just never can tell that opportunity you want to get into. The programs manager might be at that meeting, and because you have a one-on-one, they would remember you when the application opens, and that might just give you a foot in the door. So let's not just, don't run a solo race. Try to want to collaborate and relate with other people, get into communities, and be active there.
I would agree with you that networking and collaboration is really important for every business. I know that it was through networking that I actually even got to know about MSME Africa, that I got to know you. So I agree with you on that. I also want to say that there are some requirements, there are some documents, there are some things that every business organization should have if you're seeking opportunities. Like somebody says, oh, I want to travel out, but you don't have an international passport. So what are those documents that businesses need? What do they need to have to be well positioned for opportunities? Because sometimes opportunities might come, and when you don't have what it takes to grab the opportunity, you might eventually lose it.
So I think the number one thing is a pitch deck. Something that tells the story of your organization in few slides. Your pitch deck should not be too like 100 slides. Nobody wants to read
Sorry,
that.
I didn't get that properly.
A pitch deck.
Oh, pitch deck. Okay.
So a pitch deck tells your story, tells the organizers of that competition or the judges or whoever about your organization, the problem you are trying to solve, how you're solving it, your competition, what you are doing better than them, and then your financial projection, and of course, the size of the market you are addressing. So your pitch deck is the number one thing that every startup, every MSME should have if you are open to get this opportunity. And of course, you need to keep your books. They will, a lot of them will ask for your financial statement. And that's where a lot of MSMEs get into trouble. They don't have records. They don't know what their profit for last year was. They don't know how much their revenue was. They don't know all these ratios, they are very important. Then, of course, you need to have a registered business. Nobody wants to do things with a company that does not have a registered, you're not registered with CAC. That's a problem. And then you need to have your tax clearance. They want to see that you are tax compliant, you are a responsible corporate citizen. And then a couple of them will ask for your policies. What are the policies you have in place with regards to this and that? And so I think those are like the basics. For some of them, depending on the type of opportunities, if it's funding, for instance, they want to see your banks. I mentioned bank statement. They also want to see who are the signatory to your account, what's your corporate governance policy like, and just things that would give them the confidence that you are the best person for that. Okay, for instance, if it's something that involves money, they don't want to give you a loan when they are not sure that you have the character to handle it. They want to see what your track record has been over time. For some of them, they want to go and check you at the credit bureau. And then if they find out that you've been owing Bank A, Bank B, Bank C, they will not want to have anything to do with you.
Mr. Seye, thank you so much. I also want to add now, because I think it's something I have personally noticed, especially at a time now where we have, global headwinds, macroeconomic issues, high rates of inflation, and what have you. These are some of the things that actually limit the opportunities that are available to people. So for businesses, what do you think is the way forward at such a time like this, where we are grappling with high rates of inflation and so many other key macroeconomic issues?
Well, I will agree with you to some extent, but I also don't agree. And let me tell you why. During COVID was when we had the most opportunities in this country. And I can say this because we started MSME Africa during COVID. Because of the situation, a lot of organizations, a lot of donors, a lot of humanitarian agencies started creating opportunities. We had a lot of opportunities flooding the space because they felt like life was dealing very harshly with people. So let's see where we can come in. And so maybe a lot of organizations will have shrunk in the area of providing opportunities, but I see a lot of donors coming up to actually say, we know that this thing is biting really hard. And so let's provide these opportunities for them. Let's see how they can take advantage of it. I know a couple of those things sprang up during COVID and they've been sustained after, like the 1 billion naira opportunity by Folorunsho Alakija came, I think, in 2021 and is still there. And there are a couple of other ones too. But I know for corporate organization, maybe if you're looking for opportunity from a corporate organization in terms of sponsorship or maybe you want them to partner with you on a program, they might have their budget might have probably been reduced. What you need to do at that point is to look at what their focus is. I found out that each organization has a CSR focus. So if their focus is on healthcare, right, and you are bringing a proposal on something that has to do with education, they might not listen to you. The other person that is bringing a proposal for an opportunity that has to do with healthcare will probably get their attention. So I would say before you approach any organization or any donor or whichever, you try to do research on what is their CSR focus, what is their funding focus, what areas are they passionate about. For some of them is entrepreneurship, some is healthcare, some is education, some is vocational skill. So look at those things so that you can stand a better chance at getting those opportunities from them.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Seye. You've spoken quite well. It's been an amazing time speaking with you. When you were talking about the 1 billion naira opportunity and you said Folorunsho, I thought you were going to mention my name, but
no, wait for your time.
but I forgot. I'm not a lucky guy. Anyways, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you too.
I don't know if there's any other thing you'd like to say, your final words before we wrap up the conversation today.
So I think I would just say that people should stop being skeptical about opportunities. Those opportunities are there, and then people actually are benefiting from them. But a lot of people are very skeptical. Sometimes you put opportunities, some people are saying, these ones are scammers, this one is not real, this one is not that. When you have that kind of mindset, you might actually not take advantage of these things. Tell yourself that even I will apply for this thing and I'm optimistic that I'm going to win. And even if you don't get into those programs, if you don't get that grant, you have learned some things. And then next year you apply for it again, you get better at it. I know people that have applied for Tony Elumelu Foundation grant for 3 years. Then the 4th year they win, they get it. They have become like veterans. Now they know what those guys are looking for and they start coaching other people. So just tell yourself that I'm going to give my best to this application. If I don't win it, I'm going to come back next year. And then the likelihood that you're going to win it is a lot higher when you have that kind of mindset.
Well, Mr. Seye, you've spoken quite well. Thank you so much for your time on Enterprise Chat today. I've learned quite a lot, talking about how businesses and startups can position themselves for opportunities. We really appreciate your time on the conversation today.
Thank you very much.
This is where we come to the end of the conversation. We'll wrap it up. It was really a nice time chatting with the founder and CEO of MSM.